everyone, good morning. I'm happy and glad to see all your bright faces. So welcome to today's lesson, and before I introduce the lesson, someone tell us what you can see. Yes, Brina. Very good. With me is a jar containing pieces of papers of different colors, different sizes, and different shapes, which are suspended in water. This today represents the cell. So our learning area is the cell. Now, the cell is the basic unit of life. And that is the first objective, that by the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain the cell as the basic unit of life. Secondly, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain the key terms which we are going to encounter in this topic. Third, you need to be able to describe the two types of cells with reference to the presence or the absence of the nucleus. Therefore, let's move on. Nicole, could you explain to us what is a cell? Yes, what is a cell? Very correct. That is excellent. A cell is the basic unit of life. So on to the key terms for today that we are going to encounter. We have prokaryotic cell. A prokaryotic cell is a cell that lacks nucleus as well as the membrane-bound organelles. But note that it contains the ribosomes. Now, what are these membrane-bound organelles? Membrane-bound organelles are the substructures within the cell that contains the membrane around themselves, and hence the membrane separates them from the cytoplasm. Moving on to the eukaryotic cell as another key term. Eukaryotic cell is a cell that contains the nucleus as well as the membrane-bound organelles. Now, I've already talked about the membrane-bound organelles as the organelles that have membrane around themselves. So examples of the cell organelles are the nucleus, the mitochondria, the Golgi apparatus, the ribosomes, as I've already talked about, among others that we shall be looking at in details in our next lesson. Now, I proceed on to the types of cells in reference to them having or lacking the nucleus. Now, I come back to you, class. Can someone tell us the two types of cells with reference to the presence or absence of the nucleus? Yes, Priyanka? Very good. Prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotic cell is a cell that lacks the nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. And we have some living organisms which contains the prokaryotic cells. And these are, for example, the bacteria and the archaea. As you can note, the bacterium and the archaea are prokaryotic. They contain the prokaryotic cells. And most of these organisms, they are unicellular organisms. They contain single cells. Now I move on to the eukaryotic cells. The eukaryotic cells are the cells which contain nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. Examples of living organisms with this cell is animals, plants, we have the fungi, we have the protists. Exactly. Very good. Now, I move on to anyone with a question. Anyone with a question? Okay, correct. If you don't have any question, I have a question for you. Abdirahman, could you tell us two examples of cell organelles? Wonderful. That is correct. Mitochondrion? Yes? Yes, Tracy? Golgi apparatus, very correct. Sure, nucleus, yes. So, thank you so much for your participation. In our next lesson, we are going to learn in details about these cell organelles. So for today, I'm going to send you the notes on what we have learned, the introductory part of this, as well as some questions for you to attempt. So thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of your lessons. Bye.